Today we are staying at a military campground that is close to Washington, D.C. We're going to spend our weekend here, have a good time with the RV, and share some information with you. So in today's video, we're going to go through our whole setup process, which includes setting up our power, water, and sewer, as well as putting out our slides and leveling our jack. So stay with us and
we'll show you what we learned.
give me a call when you're ready for me to level, John. For our RV, the first thing that you have to do when you're leveling is make sure that the ignition is on, the parking brake is set, and then you can go to the electronic leveler and set it to auto level. While I'm doing that, John stays outside and he watches the process to make sure that there are no issues with the jack. So we do a little shaking as we level. It's all good?
It's all good.
All right, so I can turn it off?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and now it's time for the hookups. Now I've been told it's best to start with electrical. So that's what we'll do. All right, and now I have to make sure the breakers are off. And they are all off. We're going into 50 amp service, but before I do that, I have to hook up one more thing. Now, we have this wonderful power Watchdog. All right, and this thing has worked well for us. Checks the power to make sure it's good and clean and will work for our rig, and I'm about to follow it. So what I do is I plug this in first, I turn on the 50 amp service. This turns white and clicks if it's good, and it's good. Now turn it back off. Now I plug the rig into it. And we do it again. We're good. That's powered. All right, next is fresh water. These, pressure regulator and a Y valve. This keeps the pressure between 40 and 50 psi for the pipes so they don't take damage. Anything higher than that, you may get leaks because your pipes will burst. This is the pressure regulator. This is your pressure. This, you can use a small wrench here to turn this, to turn it up or down. Right now,
you can use a screwdriver.
Oh, you can. She's right. Look at that. And this splitter has valves to open and close. So that's on and that's off.
So you can hook up multiple hoses?
Yes. I can hook up my two hoses. Now I'm going to hook up my 0G. All right, people. I don't know if you've heard before, but this 0G hose is awesome. When I store it, I attach the ends to keep anything out. Any critters, any contaminants. All right, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make sure there's no air in this. So I'm going to turn on my water.
I'm going to step back.
And there it is. And then I'm going to open the valve. So that's good. The top came off there. All right. I'll let it run a minute just to make sure nothing's in it. Oh, Getting air in there. There we go. All right, let's hook it up. All right, we hook it up to the inlet. This is where your outside water comes in. Don't worry about water splashing. This is a waterproof bay. Now, for this, we're going to move this now that we're hooked up to city water to city fixtures. This is pretty tough to move, but there it is. City fixtures. And that's our water pump switch. We don't need to turn that on because we're on city water. Now I can turn the pressure back on and turn the water on. All right, we have water coming into the unit now. Final step is stuffing this with something. I plan to get some things called flanges, which are about the size of this hole, but they have a hole in the center and they're flexible so you can pass hoses through them, but nothing can get in, but I haven't bought them yet. Now for this next step, gloves are required. And now I take out this giant disc. And now I think I'm getting better at doing this part. There's a cap here that's very, very stiff.
Oh, this is the one that gave you a hard time at Disney.
Yeah, but I'm getting better because you have to push up on these.
Our early watchers will remember that. And by early watchers, I mean those who saw like what, our second or third video? Yeah. Maybe our fourth, I don't remember.
That is a pain in the tush. Now, I'm telling you, you'll want to get yourself some aftermarket hoses if you're buying new. Because the ones they give you, not so great.
Awesome, you remembered.
Yeah, this one is easier. It's hard to get it on there if I try to come at it this way. Now this one, we're very close, so I only need one. But I would still advise you to buy two. Because most places you go, you're going to need them. The clear elbow is great because you can see what's coming out and how much, if it's done or not. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, these are pretty cool to use. This is called a sidewinder. It actually creates a nice angle for your hose to go down. And you can make it longer or shorter as you need. And I think this is pretty good. These two items. We have Tomcat, Rodent Repellent. It smells like peppermint, so it's not so bad. Then we have Ortho Home Defense. This is for mice and rodents. This is to stop the ants from climbing up our tires and making a home in our rig. So I'm going to spray these two, and then I should be done out here.
And guys, he does this for me. And for the rig. But I think it's mainly for me.
This is pretty much it for my outdoor set.
My job to put out the slides. I'm going inside, and John's going to stay outside to watch to make sure that nothing goes wrong. All right, let's do this. Okay, I've got the power turned on, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the bedroom slide. And click this button and click this for slide out. While John watches. And he'll give me a holler if anything goes wrong. All clear?
Yep, all clear.
John's going around to the other side of the RV while I put out the slide for the dining room and the living room area. Now I'm going to switch this to dining sofa, and I'm going to push this slide out. And I watch from the inside to make sure that nothing gets caught while John watches from the outside. We have the windows open today, but normally we'd have a phone. Can you hear me, John? Is it good? I was worried about this one because of the electrical, so sorry for screaming in your ears, folks. All right, it's done. And now look at how much room we have. Wait a minute.
What?
Come back. Just wanted to catch your face. Hey, wait a minute.
No.
You got to close the door.
Why can't you do that?
I don't have shoes on.
Yep. Fine.